Can you hear me? I can hear you too. Perfect. Please don't forget to start recording when the class starts. Okay, great. Thank you. You too. Thank you. Okay.
Is okay? So, hello everybody. Good morning from Spain. My name is Jutta and I'm a senior instructor in the system of Mastermind Takchia. And I welcome you to this review class about the female practice. So I see here also some men apparently in the class, which is very nice. So yeah, uh, I I have been practicing the female practice that Master Chia taught me for let's say like I started like 35 years ago, but the initial approach was not so fluent. First of all, I did not understand the practice, and it was a little bit. I, it was not really because it's energy, so you don't really know. Am I doing it right or what do I have to do? And then secondly, also, I also did not understand the connection between sexuality and spirituality. That was a total new concept for me. And then when Master Chia said we should use an egg and train our vagina, I thought, what do I need to? Why do I need to do this? And yeah, so everything was. The first 3-4 years I was like that, but it was also at the very beginning of Master Chia's, let's say, career as a spiritual teacher, and there were only very few people who would actually practice it, I think, or who were interested in it. Like I remember when we were in America and Master Chia introduced us to this egg exercise, we were maybe 10 women or 12, I don't remember, but a very small group. So, and he didn't have, and the egg he had, there was not even a hole in it. It was just like a normal stone egg. So, so from that it evolved. And he asked me every year or every 2 years, do you practice the egg? And I felt, well, okay, I will start doing it. So it was a more or less a slow advancing. Um, when I became an instructor in 1990, I was more eager to practice, and I also had a small group, and I was more eager to practice because I had to prepare myself for the group, and I was reading more, and slowly I got more and more into this kind of practice. So. Well, I don't think anybody has missed something yet. I was just introducing myself and my past in this practice. Uh, what I think is, I mean, this is my personal understanding, like for every spiritual path you need sexual energy, but there are different approaches. So one approach is that you like people chant and meditate, and when they start early, I would say that there is a possibility that the sexual energy can, with this kind of practices, and also I would also say like in more secluded place, like in a temple or in an ashram, when people do this every day for many hours, that the sexual energy can be transformed by that. Because this is actually what we also achieve in our practice, like when we go into higher practices of Kan and Li. That is the first level of lesser Kan and Li is actually transform your sexual energy in spiritual energy. You see? So there, it's just like a different approach, and the approach of the Universal Tao system and Master Chia is more on feeling energy, and also more based on the physical. Because I mean, now I'm trained like that, so I don't know how it works for other people who are not trained in the physical. This I don't know, but all I can say is all this sexual practice that we practice is actually going first to the period of self-healing. And what is self-healing? Self-healing means to heal our sexuality and to heal also our physical. So to heal whatever we have physical, to heal our breast, to heal our vagina, to heal our ovaries, to heal our uterus. So that's the sexuality. So first we have to go through this kind of healing, that the energy can move, that the energy can flow. And so we have different methods to do that. So many people, many women, they just they feel inspired, for instance, with the egg exercise, but then they also don't know how to practice it. And for women, this practice is very essential for self-healing first. Now we just talk about self-healing. That's very important, because our chi muscle is also connected with our vagina and the uterus. So when we don't train the vagina, then also our chi muscle is not very strong. And because we always sit on this muscle, and it's the lowest part of our body, so for women to practice with the egg is very important. And now also the second one is how to practice with the egg. So it's not like just looking at the egg and thinking, oh, what a beautiful stone, I love rose quartz, or I love this kind of stone, and keep it in your drawer. So you really need to do it, and that's another little obstacle for most women. Chi muscle, perineum. Chi muscle, perineum is the perineum is the lower part of our body. The lowest part. It's the perineum is about this distance. It's one big one muscle, and it's from the vagina to the anus. This area. This is called perineum, and this is also the floor of our body. Like when we get older, everything starts to press into this perineum. And also for women, we have like the vagina and we have the anus. So we have two openings. And when, for instance, after childbirth, and when this whole area becomes more weak, we lose a lot of life force, because these two gates, we say like these two openings are weak, and our energies, that we lose our energies through these two openings when we don't strengthen it. So they should have a healthy tonus, like a healthy tonus, like like a child has a healthy tonus. But when we get older, we lose it, and sometimes some women, they say the vagina is really wide, So we need to train it with the egg, and also with the contraction. Yes, here the question was, is the perineum the same as the chi muscle? Yes. As I said, the chi muscle is it's big. It's not only the perineum, it's also connected with the anus, it's connected above the anus, and it's connected to the front, to the vagina, so that we can close the vagina and pull it up. And it's also connected to the uterus. So we train the part, the cervix below the uterus. I mean, no, it's, on the uterus, at the end of the vagina, there is the cervix, and we also train this. And yeah, like when you never did anything, you think, what? Very deep inside, you know, you don't have any direct connection. You cannot put your eyes and your mind into this because you're not connected to this part. So we need to train it. And the training with the egg is like that we take a egg. You can choose, like when you had when you gave birth and you didn't do any special practice with your vagina afterwards. So then it's sometimes good to practice with a bigger egg, like the big size, L size, or M. It also depends on your waist. You know, if you're more wider or you're more smaller. In general, big L or M is good. So if a woman never had given birth and she's maybe in her 30s, 40s, sometime, and it's also good to start with a S. You know, like at the beginning, S size, the smallest size. So that's also a possibility to start with the egg. And then you see how the best is when you have like all three, so you can train it. Well, and you see which egg is for the beginning the best for you. And then you add the string to the egg. There's a hole in every egg, so you can put this, like we use normally dental floss. And because after the use you dispose it. And now you insert the egg into the vagina, so it has to come completely inside. And when you do this, you also feel what size of egg is good for you. When you feel the big egg is too big and you cannot get it inside, then maybe you start with the middle or small. This is only for the beginning, because our vagina itself is such an incredible texture. You see, like when we give birth, the vagina canal is opening up so that the baby passes through. So imagine this tiny little vagina becomes like so big, so it can expand a few hundred times in order to give birth, you know. And later on it can go back to very small. So this is a very incredible texture of the vagina skin inside the vagina. So it's very special. So it doesn't mean that when you have like now you need L, and maybe L doesn't even fit, it's too big, too small. It doesn't mean that you are hopeless. No, because you can train this muscle. And when you have S and you think, oh, S is so tight, oh, it's so tight for me, don't worry. You know, the only thing you have to get it inside, and then you start the training. And the training is, you have to focus on the egg. And of course, at the beginning, you probably don't feel the egg at all. You think, somehow gone. For this, it's good to have the string. So when you pull a little bit on the string, in the direction of your vagina. So and it's, of course, you do it lying in your bed or on the floor, and your legs are bent, and now you pull a little bit on the egg, but not that you pull it out, but just a bit. And now you feel, now I can feel my egg. And now you start to contract. Now you try to find this muscle that is around your egg. Once you have it, you feel like a little pull on your thread. When you do it well, so it's a training, you see. So you have to always pull like parallel, like when your vagina is like this approximately, then you have to pull like this, not like this. You will hurt the entrance of the vagina, because the dental floss it's a bit tough, no? So you pull this way a little bit only to feel. Now once you feel it, your egg, now you start to contract. And you have to contract on the smaller side, because the practice is like this. You squeeze the egg up towards the uterus. And that is how you develop the muscles, the PC muscle inside. And we also divide it, like Master Chia, he showed you on the slide, that there are 3 sections of the PC muscle. The entrance section, which is connected with the bladder and the kidney area. The middle part that is connected with the liver, spleen, and then comes lung and heart. And the heart is very close to the cervix. So there are 3 sections, and when you do it, you will also notice that when you continue practicing, you will also feel where your PC muscle is weak, where you have not so much grip when you try to move the egg. Sometimes women say that they move and it seems the egg only moves on one side up, but the other side is like not moving. And that also has an indication of our organ energy, no? Energetically. I'm talking now about energy. It's not that you go to the doctor see that you have a problem in your organ. No, it's you are still on an energetic level, that there is a certain imbalance, and you may notice it in your vagina. That's how it is. So the training is that you can squeeze the egg up, and with the practice, your vagina will also become more sensitive, and at one point you can also feel your egg. You know very well when you squeeze your vagina, you know very well where your egg is, in which area, which section, if it's in the middle part or in the upper part. So yeah, that's it's training, and it takes time. You know, you have to invest time with it. Golden chain on it. Let's just read this chat here. And a bit like a necklace from how it looks. She doesn't like the chain so much, but it was recommended to her. Well, this I don't know, you know. Is the goal eventually the use of the smallest egg? No. Is it possible for virgins to use the egg? Well, I mean, because of a virgin, I don't think she should practice with the egg, because when you go deeper inside, then it can break, this very fine skin can break, and this is maybe not what she wants. Depends, you know. But I mean, normally, and you also, the small size is also not the idea. Actually, you could, you know, like when your vagina is flexible and strong, you could any size you could use. For instance, for weightlifting, I always use a big size egg. When I just practice normal, I use medium. And when you know, you can do many things. You can develop your vagina, so you can use different size of eggs for what you wanted, you know, like what you want to do. But the basic practice is that you squeeze it up, and then it has to come down. Once you can do this, then you do it standing. Then you get up. So first you do everything lying, and when you feel good in the lying, so there is another practice that you can, how you can measure if your vagina has become stronger. When your egg is up, you grab the egg in the lying position, and now you pull with a string, and you hold and pull like this. And when you have the feeling that you can hold the egg inside, that you have a certain balance, pulling and holding, with the string pulling and holding, then you can stand up. And then you do the same practice standing. So basically you stand you stand in the Qigong stand, and you insert the egg, and now you squeeze it up standing. Squeeze it up. And then you do the same again. But now, I think you also saw it on the picture that Master Chia in the PowerPoint presentation. So the women and men also, they stick out the tongue. So you stick out your tongue as much as you can and hold the egg with your PC muscle and pull. But pull and release, and pull and release, and so you strengthen like one section, like you can say the upper section of the vagina muscle, you strengthen this, and then you lower your egg to the middle section and you do the same. Pull, release, pull, release, pull, release. And then the lower, this is a bit critical because it's quite at the entrance of the vagina, so it's another training. So this way you train your PC muscle. And that is not only for spiritual practice, but it's also for your health. That's the most important. What is this practice good for? Let me see. Actually, this practice good for people who have lots of tension in the vagina. Yeah, it might need relax more than strengthen. Both will be achieved. Both will be achieved. You see, no matter if your vagina very tight or very loose, with this practice you strengthen your vagina in both ways. You just have to do it. That's the point. And most women don't do it. That's the problem. That's the only problem. Honestly, the only problem is that many women don't do it. They don't, and I understand because I'm coming from the same place. I also had like, no, today I'm not doing it. It feels some kind of odd. What is this feeling now? And like you just have to do it. And all these problems and strange feelings and pains and all this will eventually go away. But we need to do it, yes. So that is for our physical strengths first of all. And then the second practice is that is on the physical part. I'm explaining this right now because this is probably taking the most time to accomplish. So this is why I'm going into this right away. The second part, or the real energetic part, is the ovarian breathing, the breast massage and the ovarious and uterus breathing. So now we go to replenish our lost qing, the energy that we have lost already. Now we start to replenish it with this kind of practice. And before, like when I started, Master Chia would not teach the breath, or he would like separate the breast massage from the ovarian breathing, like two different practices. But now, in the meantime, it's clear that our breast is connected with our sexuality, and especially the nipples are connected, and when we massage the breast, we also activate we can feel it also in our sexual organs, like the ovaries, the uterus and the clitoris. So this we can become aware of it. However, some women, they don't feel this kind of connection. So then now they have to practice again, like reconnect it. And for this we have this practice of the 9 flowers, this exercise. So it goes back to the area like that is said that women probably had more than 2 breasts. I don't know. So it's never mind whatever it is said, but the important thing is that we can activate here this line here, this milk line, and it's actually also connected with the stomach and the spleen meridian, and it's very good to activate it anyway. So it's between here the clavicle, not the collarbone. Here, sorry. Goes down here right here in the middle. It goes here down, and you massage it. The collar here. You go all the way down. You go over the nipple, and then you go all the way down to the ovaries, and you do it very gently and lovingly. and the best is of course without clothes, and then you reactivate this line. And you go over the nipple and you massage the nipple, you caress your nipple, until you feel this connection down to the ovaries. And once you can feel this connection, then you can you start with the ovarian breathing. And in the Tao, we always have a morning exercise. So every morning we practice basically the same things over and over and over and over again. So I can show you, I just show you so that you have an idea. I think Master Chia did it already with you, but I just want to, so that you should do every morning and start like this. Let me see. You can see, like, okay, maybe I have to go a little bit more down. So every morning to start the same way. So a good way is when you just start to shake your body. You stand with your feet firm on the ground and you just shake your body and smile. So now when you want to work with your ovaries and your breast, so you focus on this. So you just visualize your ovaries and shake your breast, smile into it. Like you send a sunshine smile into your organs and just keep on shaking. Shake, shake, shake. And then the next exercise is like the hip exercise. So you have your feet parallel, and you have to go a little bit more down that you can see better. Like that. Okay, now I think it's better. So you stand shoulder width apart, and now you move your hip to the side, and your knees are slightly bent. Side, front, side, back. And when you go to the back, you hold your hands like this, here. So you have your fingers here on the door of life. And then you move to the side, front, side, back. And round here your lumbar, round it, feel your lumbar. So you make a big circle with your hip. And smile into your hip joints. So this is really important because we sit too much. And when we do it right, then we feel maybe some discomfort sometimes. So you do it one direction and to the other side. Smile into your hip joints. And you can do it for as long as you like, until the pain is gone, if you feel the pain. And now we come to this famous spinal cord breathing. So you make loose fist in front of your face, and then you tap here on the forehead, and when you inhale, you inhale a golden light here in your forehead to the back, and all the way down to the coccyx. So you smile. I show you like this. So you inhale, and you press your shoulder blades together and your hip to the back. And now when you exhale, you tuck in your sacrum and round your shoulder blades. And again, inhale, golden light, exhale. Gray and dark, color out. Inhale, smile into your spinal cord. Exhale. And round here. Tuck in your sacrum and round your lumbar. And this you can also do many times. 9 is about the minimum, so you can do more than 9 times. So this is the next part. And then, so you can also activate the sacrum. When you rub the sacrum, you energize first your hands and then you rub the sacrum. And you rub your sacrum with the fingertips, because it's a sacred bone and it's really important. because it's connected with all the bones in the body. And we can also activate the sacrum. So you place your fingers here on the side between the sacrum and the hip bone, and now you shift, you open your knees, your legs are firm, and you shift the sacrum to the side, front, side, back. Side, front, side, back. One direction and to the other side. So you release the tension here between the sacrum and the hip bone. There is a lot of nervous system. And now you tuck the sacrum in. And the movement is very little. When you tuck the sacrum in, you can place your hands on your sacrum and the other one here in front, and you just tuck in and release. Basically, you only tuck the sacrum in where you have released the side between the sacrum and the hip bone. So there's very little movement. Tuck in and relax. And this is activating the biggest pump in the spinal cord, the sacrum pump. And this is really important to pump chi and nourishment into the brain. So there's very little movement. And then you can do the belly. You know, like I think you did that already a lot with Master Chia, so I don't have to explain to you these details. But this is about the morning exercise, and you should do it really every day. It's only beneficial for you. Good. So, as I said, you can continue with the abdominal breathing, the reverse breathing, and then the primordial breath that you don't breathe, and practice the suction breathing in your belly. But you need to have a strong PC muscle. So to train the PC muscle, the chi muscle, this is really important. That's a very important practice, because in how you train it, when you contract it, you want to feel energy going up into your brain, and you want that when you contract the perineum, pull it up, the chi muscle, you also want to feel here in the brain contraction. You see, and that means that your chi muscle is trained. So it's also the practice until you can feel it. I mean, here, can you feel that they start to pumping? The cranial pump starts to activate when you pull up the perineum, when the chi muscle is trained. Good. So this is why we do all this morning exercise. It has to be constantly. You have to practice it until one day you think, wow, now I can feel it. Yeah, sure. Belly massage is also good. Clockwise, counterclockwise. You can do as you like. You can do in the direction of the large intestine to activate the bowel movement in the morning, or you can do it the other way, as you like. What was the practice here? PPT, posterior pelvic tilt, probably. Do you do the breast massage and 9 flower before starting the practice with egg? Same for 5 line practice? Well, you know, this all depends on what you feel. You know, it's all, if you feel like when you touch your breast and you start to massage your breast, and you immediately feel the connection to your ovaries and to your clitoris, then you don't need to do the 9 flower exercise, no? Because you have it already, you see, you have this connection already. But if you don't feel it, then you're doing the 9 flower exercise. So it's so simple. Why 9 flowers? Don't ask me this. This is now, I don't know. You can also have 12 flowers. It's just like metaphor, you know, like you make small circles, just barely touching your skin, and you visualize every circles that you do is like a flower, like you make a flower blossoming, like you know, like when you look at a flower and how it slowly opens up in the morning, something like that. So you open this every little flower. So you make 9 flowers, or maybe you have only 6 or 12, and you go all the way down. You know, 9 is in the Tao is only a lot, because 9, the number 9 is the ultimate number. After that, there is no more further number than this. So after 9, you have 10, and you start with 1 again. You see, 1. And this is why 9 doesn't mean 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, it means a lot. It's just a lot. And then you just do a lot. And you do it very lovingly and feelingly, and you want to feel your nipple. Because the nipple are connected with all your sexuality and the whole breast. When you start to activate your breast, eventually you feel that all the skin of your breast is connected with your sexuality. But never mind. So I said the morning exercise is important. And now, and you can also start a morning exercise before. You can start with the inner smile. You can do it in your bed, you know, you smile into your organs and send loving energy into your body. That's very important. And then you start with a little morning exercise, 5 or 10 minutes. And now you can go into the breast massage, or you go into the 9 flower exercise. If you don't feel the connection between your nipple and your ovary and clitoris, then you start with the 9 flower exercise until you feel this. And now, when you feel it, now you can you do the abdominal breathing, the reverse breathing, and focus on your ovaries and focus on your uterus. And when you do this, the abdominal breathing and reverse breathing, now you start with the ovarian breathing. Ovarian and uterus breathing. So the practice is very simple. There's not much to show. You just go massage your breast, and you have different ways of massaging. You can massage your breast more firm, so that you really go with the heel of your palm into your beautiful breast and you massage it, or you do it more gentle. You just go barely touching the skin with a nice oil. Just do the breast massage like that and smile down into the ovaries. And when you feel that your ovaries start to tingle, or maybe you feel like warm, now you draw this energy, that feeling in your ovaries into the uterus. Simply by focus your mind into the uterus and draw this energy into the uterus. And then you focus on your perineum, like the end of your body, in the middle, like this area. You focus on this, and you keep on massaging your breast in either direction, as you like. You can do 12 times this direction, 12 times the other direction. And then, when you feel energy there, now you start with ovarian breathing, and you draw this energy up. So the idea is actually that you take this energy that you activate in your ovaries and bring it up into your higher center. There are different ways. Master Chia and I also actually like to teach it very much in the activating, turning the wheels. You know, like turning the wheel, the water wheel. And I think he also showed you the animation of it. So you draw the energy up, but it's also helpful, I show you, it's also helpful when you use okay. So now you use your hands. You have chi between your hands, no? When you hold it, you can feel that you have like a cloud, like a chi cloud between your palms. If not, then you rub your hands again and again until you feel chi. This is helpful for the practice. So you can do either not touching your breast, and you just focus on your ovaries, and then you just tuck in your sacrum and draw the energy from the ovary, that you have now here on the perineum. You draw it up to the door of life here, opposite the navel, to the navel, through the body and down, like in a circle. Or you can also say, like the moon cycle, you can also fill it up. You draw it up and bring it down below your navel and store it there. And then again you connect to the ovaries, draw it up and store it here. You can do this way and store it. Or you can just turn the wheel. So this is the first wheel. And with your chi hands you can feel like you draw the energy from the coccyx, sacrum, all the way up to the door of life, to the navel, down. And when you do it well, you can feel like energy passing through from the door of life to the navel and down. And that's the first wheel. And now you tuck in, gently contract, just a little bit contraction, and draw the energy up now towards the T11, solar plexus, and you activate the second wheel. And you see my elbows go back, you see, drawing the energy up like this. And you always move. Tuck in, release. Tuck in, contract a bit. The contraction is only for helping to move the chi up into the coccyx sacrum. And now you come to the third wheel, tuck in. Your back is round, all the way up to the C7, to the throat, down to the solar plexus, and again tuck in, pull up, smile, and always smiling to the ovaries. And then you come to the fourth wheel, up to the crown. And you do always the same movement. Help the chi to go up through here. And with a little contraction, and you draw all the way up to the crown. And then you can, when the energy is up in the crown, when you feel like a pressure, like you feel pressure, then you can spiral in your eyes from the front to the left, to the back, to the right, and reverse, and bring the energy down. Tip of the tongue behind the front teeth, and you feel like electricity. And you collect the energy. And then you collect it like 36 times counterclockwise for women and 24 times clockwise. And you store the chi. Now that's important. You need to store the energy in your lower tantien, behind your navel. And then you hold the chi. And you just focus on one point behind the navel and feel like a condensed energy. So this is the one way of the ovarian breathing. The second way, this is what I explained, you can do it with the breast massage. Yeah. So you just massage your breast, and when you feel this connection, and now you do the same. And now I draw the energy all the way up to the crown, right away along the spinal cord. So I'm just focusing on here. Very little movement here. Activating drawing the energy from the perineum to the coccyx, sacrum. And you feel your ovaries warm. And when you do it for women, it's very warm. Like you feel really warm. Sometimes you sweat because it's the ovarian energy. And you guide it. The important part that you guide it all the way up into your higher center. And you can change the direction, so you go to the other way. And that's another way of activating or practicing the ovarian breathing. And then again you bring it down and collect the energy. So the important is the collecting of the energy. And then reverse. until you feel it. Holding the one. Holding one point. Without thought. All the 10,000 thoughts, they come down to one thought. Only one thought. Holding the one. So, so this was already the major practice I explained to you. First, the egg exercise, more physical. And second, the breast massage and the ovarian breathing. And the ovarian uterus breathing. Eventually you also want to feel the uterus when you do the contraction. You also want to feel that. So this is, it takes time, you know. It will occupy you some time until you feel it all. But you just have to do it. That's the point. Let me see any further questions here. When you tuck the sacrum, is this the same PPT, posterior pelvic tilt? Yeah, I think so. What is the 9th flower? I explained. Can we get location of the flowers in a photo? No. Why stimulate the nipple to stimulate this sexual energy? Why not stimulate the clitoris and vagina instead? Good. Do we start massage always outward, or it can also be start by inward movement in hands? Do you mean the breast massage? So I'm starting here now. Stimulate the nipple, stimulate. Ah, yeah. Very easy. We talk about arousal. The whole Tao practice is about arousal. And there's a lot of confusion about this arousal for men and for women. But it's very strange because there's actually no confusion. Arousal is arousal, and going into orgasmic energy is another way. So there is a sexual, or no, an energetic connection between the nipple and the clitoris and the ovaries and the vagina and the uterus. There is a direct connection, and we need to re-establish this connection because our breasts are part of our sexuality. They are not disconnected from our sexuality. So that is we need to first go into this. Then now the second part, like when you said why don't we stimulate the clitoris and the clitoris or the sexual part here in order to feel the ovarian energy? No. This then you go into arousal energy, and then you don't have this ovarian energy. I was explaining this ovarian energy is a warm energy. Actually, it's the same energy when women go into menopause and they experience hot flushes. They also feel heat. They feel too hot, I'm sweating, you know, like that. And that is the same energy. So when you do the ovarian breathing, you have to feel this energy. It's not aroused and nothing to do with arousal. But when you, like, we have already lost some kind of life force energy because we have a lot of menstruation, maybe painful menstruation, or we lose a lot of blood, or we don't have enough blood that we lose. All this causes us to lose energy in our sexual organs. And of course, childbirth. That is the biggest, where we lose the most energy. So now, when we start with the ovarian breathing, we want to recuperate that lost energy. we have to look for this energy, for this warm feeling in the ovaries, tingling and warm, and you guide it. And the feeling is different than the feeling is different when you move just the microcosmic orbit with the life force. When you just move the microcosmic orbit like this, it's not the same. Like when you start to go into the ovarian breathing, it's more thick. The energy is a bit more. I mean, you can say honey. It's a little bit thicker. It's not moving so easily like the life force energy in the microcosmic orbit. But it's a very, it's a very. When I speak like this, you understand. You really have to feel into yourself. And you don't do just like going into activating your clitoris. That's another section. You see, we are not there yet. I'm talking about replenishing your lost energy, and by collecting it in the lower Tantien, you store the energy there, and eventually you have more energy, life force. Let me see. Nipple to stimulate sexual energy, why not stimulate the clitoris and vagina instead? Yes. So that's my explanation now. I hope it's clear. Do we start massage always outwards, or it can also start inward movement hands? So I assume you mean the breast massage. That is up to you. You can start outward or inward. Is the whole morning practice what you showed us now also good if a woman wants to get pregnant? Because I am a little bit confused about taking the energy from the egg ovary. So maybe about taking the egg from the outer ovaries. But I'm a little bit unsure about it. Okay, I explained that. So now I'm explaining this from Sarah, this question. So many times when a woman doesn't get pregnant, even though she makes love with her partner, and also the right timing and everything, and it doesn't work, so it's probably an energetic problem. And if the organs are okay, so it's energy. So that's the energy, you see? So now you have to activate your ovarian energy, and that is this warm energy. And you don't worry now that you take something out that prevents you from getting pregnant. Don't worry about that, because first you need to heal. You see, like if you try to be pregnant and it never worked, then probably that is the case, that you have lost, that you have not enough energy in that area. Like in the Chinese term, Chinese traditional medicine, they say the womb is cold. There's not enough qi to make it happen, that the pregnancy, the conception first. So you need to rebuild it. You need to rebuild this lost energy. And that's the practice, the ovarian energy, the ovarian breathing, ovarian uterus breathing. And now you can combine it with the breast massage. And you feel that the nipple are connected with your sexual organs, and then you move the energy up, and then you bring it down. And collect it. Important is that you collect it. And that will build up your lost energy. And that also, you see, like this energy that you collect behind the navel, that will, when you do it well, you feel it. You can feel like a condensed energy. But as soon as you lose your sight, like you go out and you think, what do I have to do next? Oh, I have to call, I have to do, and then you don't feel it anymore. And it disperses in the body, but it will go into self-healing. It will heal those areas in your system that need more energy, that need more, or that need to be more balanced. And when it's the ovaries and the uterus, then the energy will go there. But you need to bring it first out, activate it, and then collect it in the lower Tantien, and then it will take care by itself. That's the answer to the lady to Sarah who want to get pregnant. So by doing it, you can also get pregnant. When you had a problem getting pregnant. like when you tried already many times and it didn't work, so then that is probably an energetic problem. And you have to bring more, you have to activate more your ovaries and move the energy and collect it before it can happen. Another way is also for women who want to get pregnant is also like the belly massage, Chine Tsang. I I had a long time ago. I had like 3 women who got pregnant. It was at the beginning, let's say, of my career as a massage therapist, and it was for me it was like wow, you know, like it's almost unbelievable because like it's long time ago. Actually, yeah, it happened like one lady, she was already 11 year married and she never had a baby, and she had now a sabbatical and it was already 9 months and she still was not pregnant. And then I gave her, I think, two or three treatments focusing on this, and I did it. And then another time I was teaching in South Africa, and the organizer, she was telling me that she would like to get pregnant now because she's together with her partner since 7 years, and I think she would like to get pregnant. And then I was teaching actually this practice for women, the female part, to activate the ovarian breathing and all that. And when I came the next year, she had a baby. And then she announced it also in her advertising. If you want to get pregnant, you have to attend Utah's female healing practice. Which I thought, oh, it's not really what I teach. But anyway, finally we had 3 women pregnant. So when I came the last year, then because from then they moved back, they didn't want to stay in South Africa anymore. They moved to New Zealand then, and then since then I'm not teaching there anymore. Anyway, the last experience about my female healing course was we had 3 babies. Yes, so we had I think we made also this picture, a photo from this. So you can activate this and you can also get pregnant with it. But actually the truth is we are not, it's a spiritual practice. It just can happen like that if you want, you know. Yeah. But Shinetsang can also happen, like when you practice, when you give massage to somebody. I also had this, that they got pregnant. And when it's a long time ago, I had also 2 or 3 or 4 women who got pregnant from only from the lactating breastfeeding woman. Yeah, actually, no, you don't need to do it. You see, like when you're breastfeeding, then your body has its own, produces its own hormones, and when we practice the ovarian breathing, we produce also hormones. You see, we stimulate and with the practice, we stimulate and balance our hormone production in our system. That's part of it. So when you're already breastfeeding, actually you don't need to stimulate more. There's no need to do that. You do wait until you don't breastfeed anymore, and until your menstruation has come back, and then you can do the breast massage and ovarian breathing. Okay, thank you, Fleur. Then during the ovarian breathing, are you contracting the perineum? What? Yes. You gently contract. I was mentioning that, no, Sarah? Gently contract the perineum, and it's a contraction with guiding. You focus on the perineum with your eyes and your mind. By gently contracting, you guide the energy up. You guide the energy into the coccyx sacrum. What are the orbits? Well, we have a microcosmic orbit, and then we have like the moon orbit. I was showing that before, that you bring more energy into the lower Tantien. When we make love, we redirect the sexual energy to the brain. But rubbing the nipple is different non-sexual energy. Of course it's sexual energy. When we make love, we redirect the sexual energy to the brain. Yes. But you do it already in the ovarian breathing, and the ovarian uterus breathing. You already redirect this energy in the lower part of your body. That's the beginning. Could you please write the name of this magic belly massage? I mean the pregnancy stimulating belly massage. Well, this is also not. It's actually Chi Tsang is not for. I write it now. Chi Tsang. It's not for getting pregnant. You see, it's for many for calming your mind, for being more relaxed, for releasing knots and tangles in your intestine. It's a healing massage. It's a healing massage, and yes, of course, it can also heal this part, but it's not. Again, it's not the purpose. But people can heal their liver. You know, it's just like a healing massage, and when you do it well, it can happen. That's what I say. And yeah, there was another question. I wanted to answer that question. Let me see again. So if you don't want to get pregnant, you don't get pregnant. Very simple. When somebody doesn't want to get pregnant, and the partner cannot control the ejaculation, well, for the partner, it would be also. I mean, if he really wants to transform the seminal energy into seminal fluid into energy, the sperm into cheese, then he should actually do the testicle breathing. This is also leading to this, that we can eventually control for men the ejaculation and strengthen the muscle, the chi muscle. So that was the question, why the nipples in different non-sexual energy. Well, it's also sexual energy. Like when you feel the warm energy, it is also sexual energy, but it's not aroused energy, but it's coming from the sexual organs, coming from your ovaries. You know, I can say like this. In the Tao, we don't have any like we don't have any history of like that, any kind of symptoms when we work with sexual energy, or any that it doesn't work or something like that, because we go from the very from the basic. You know, from the basic is the physical. So we need first to strengthen our vagina. And then from there, we you can do it simultaneously. I mean, not at the same moment, but you can do. Today I do the egg exercise. Tomorrow I practice ovarian breathing and breast massage. So you slowly start to develop the feeling for energy in your sexual organs, but it's not aroused energy. The ovarian energy is your innate energy of the ovaries. It's a tingling feeling. It's not an aroused feeling. It's a warm feeling. It's warm. And yeah, so when you learn to guide the energy in the microcosmic orbit, you bring it up and you bring it down. That is the beginning of an incredible transformation, but you have to do it step by step. You see, so now once you have done what I explained already, now you can go on. You go into the opening of this 3 gates in the vagina. So Master Chia was talking about clitoris orgasm, the G-spot orgasm, and then the uterus orgasm, right? So now this is the next section. Now you start to go more into the aroused feeling. You see, there are women, they don't feel anything. You see, there are women, they have a partner and they make love and they don't feel any arousal. That exists. So how can a woman who does not feel arousal when she's together with a man, how can she feel arousal? And that's the way to it, what I just explained, exactly step by step. So she has to follow these steps, what I explained. And the ovarian breathing is an important part of that. It's a very important part of that. Otherwise, the woman, she will never feel much anything. She will not feel really aroused when she's together with her partner. And she will not have an orgasm. There are some women who are like that, you know. Because we are yin and everything is inside of us. So we have not direct access to our sexuality except our nipple. And that, yeah, some women, they don't feel this connection from the nipple to the ovaries, you see. They don't feel it yet. So now, when we already practice the ovarian breathing, now we can go on, the next step for women to develop their sexuality is the three gates, opening the three gates and having this three orgasm. And that is when, it's good when a woman can open her three gates by herself. Because, of course, it's wonderful if you can share it with your partner and ask your partner to do that for you. But if you don't know what you like, and if you don't know how it should feel like, then it's maybe better when you do it first yourself. So you work first on yourself, and then you know what you like, and then you can guide your partner. Very simple, right? So you also have to spend more time with yourself. And you actually, the truth is, you have to spend a lot of time with yourself when you go into the field, when you go on to all these practices and you want to develop it. So now you go more into the pleasurable part, the arousal. So what you do is you can take a little lubricant and you massage the whole sexual area, like the outer lips and the inner lips. And then you go to the entrance of the vagina, and then you go to the clitoris. And now when you feel the clit, now you start very softly to activate it. And Master Chia explains it with not breaking the three layers of tofu, soft tofu. And that is really a good explanation. Like some years ago, Charles Muir, he's a very famous tantric teacher in America, he was explaining, he was at Tao Garden and conducting a course, and he was explaining that the clitoris is the nerve and the ending of more than 7,000 nerves, and in the clit, in this tiny little clitoris. So, what does it mean? What does it mean? It basically means that there are 7,000 nerves that are connected with the sacrum, with the pelvic floor, with the vagina. They all end in the clitoris. They all end in maybe probably also, yeah, definitely from the sacrum. They all come together in the clitoris. You see? So, when we activate the clitoris right, then we can activate, let's say, at least 5,000 of the 7,000 nerves. Yes or no? Makes sense? So this is why when you just go and like you just go, you want to have like pleasure and you go quick, and then sometime you can have like a quick orgasm because you are already wanting it, you know, like you just get orgasm quickly. And another time you try to do it and you overstimulate the clitoris, and then finally you cannot have orgasm because it's just overdone, and everything is maybe even painful a bit, so you don't get an orgasm, you see. However, when you want to have really open the first gate in a proper way, then you need to have patience. And you just put your finger and do very little movement on your clit. So you don't move your finger on the clit like this. No, you hold your finger on the clit and move the clit without moving your finger. So you shake it, and it's like you have 3 layers of soft tofu, because it has to go deep. It has to go into all these nerve ends. The vibration of your massage has to go activating the nerve ends. You see, so you do it very little movement, not to break it. And breaking means basically that you overstimulate yourself and you cannot have orgasm. So when you do it right and you gently take your time and you massage your clit to the point, and then you caress also the other areas, and then you come back and you smile down with loving energy in your heart. This is very important. This is so important, because otherwise it becomes, like sometimes women, they claim men, they say they are too mechanical, but you do it yourself, and then I ask you, are you not always too mechanical as well? Where is your love? You see? So you need to develop the loving feeling in your heart and combine it with the massage and smile. And now when you feel that this arousal goes more deep penetrates more deep into the vagina and into the lips and all that, and then you will have orgasm, very, very beautiful orgasm, and easy orgasm. I mean, it just happens. And then your vagina inside is very liquid, very fluid. A lot of fluid is coming out. That is also the indication that you did it right. So now you have fluid. The first water, Master Chair was mentioning, the first water is activated now in your vagina. So now you go to the second, which is the G-spot. And the best is when you also use your fingers, like the middle finger, like the ring finger, and the middle finger like this, and then you go inside like that. So now it's easy to go in because it's all liquid, and then you go behind the G-spot, and you have to press, like you press into this G-spot area, and press it, and you can massage it and press it and massage and smile and then also do contraction. Now your vagina is trained with all the egg exercise, so you do contraction into the G-spot. You contract into it, smile into it, and then you have to find this G-spot, this special point. It's one point, and it's on the urethra behind the G-spot. So you find it, and when you can massage it, and then when you do it, it feels like you need to go to toilet, you need to urinate, but you should not urinate then. And then you continue massaging it, and then suddenly it's like, it happens, it's coming, the liquid is coming out, it's coming like this, boom, boom, boom. It's not like urine. When you urine, it just flows down. Like, for instance, if you practice on a mat, which I recommend, when you urinate, the urine is just flowing down. But when you activate this ambrosia, this second gate, then it comes out like this. It's like a fontaine. It's like a chung, 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 comes out like that. And also depends how much water you drink. When you have enough liquid in your body, then you have a lot of water coming out. Yeah, and that's the second gate that you need to train. So basically, you need, in order to reach a uterus orgasm, these two gates have to be open. That means you don't have to do it every time, but you need to have it. not every time when you think I want to have a uterus orgasm, I have now to activate first this gate and now I can act. Yeah, sure, there is a training period, but eventually you don't need to do that. It activates easy, you know, eventually. Yeah. And then the uterus orgasm is not difficult because you have already trained your vagina energetically to that point. So all you need to do is contracting, and especially you know where the hu yin is in the perineum. When you go straight up on the hu yin, there is the epic center, and this area need to be aroused in order to get the uterus orgasm. So when you have when you have trained the first orgasm and the second, now this, and of course there will, I mentioned already that a lot of water is coming out. So now you can go into the uterus orgasm, and you can do it yourself simply by contracting and smiling into the uterus, so that you don't. It's not difficult to reach then the uterus orgasm. You wait a little bit, and then you do it, and you have a uterus, and the energy, of course, every time. I mean, like I've been training this so many years, so I don't really know how it felt before I trained my sexual organs. But whatever I do, if the clitoris orgasm and G-spot orgasm and the uterus orgasm, all the energy is always going up, and yeah, it's going really up, right up into the brain, and that's actually the idea. So when the energy is going up into the brain, then the knowledge and wisdom comes down from the universe. So the more you can bring up this sexual energy up, the more knowledge and wisdom comes down, and that's the practice. And that is actually that is the real reason why we do all these exercises and practice, to prepare ourselves for this. So let me see the practice. But you have to do it. Okay, 1 and 2 come out. I'm not at the point to have orgasm. So should we go on from gate to 1? Yeah. Yeah, first we want to have the clitoris orgasm. I didn't have, Sarah is also asking, what did the egg practice look before when you did not have the egg? Well, I didn't have an egg. I mean, I had an egg, but we didn't have a hole. At the first year we didn't have a hole, and the second year he found someone who can make holes, and then and then I started slowly with the egg exercise. Go it about healing. I got it about healing. Good. Yoni, is the yoni egg cleaned with soap? Yeah, I clean it just with soap. Yes. Because I use actually I have also like an amethyst, and you cannot really put a lot of hot water on it, so I just use soap. But you can also, if you don't want to use soap, you tea tree oil, but not vinegar, because it can destroy the surface, and then the surface becomes loses its shine. So I just use soap. And especially you also need to clean when you do the egg, when you work, then you also have to clean the hole. And the best is, let me see what else I have here. So now I just reply this one. So when you take you loosen up the string, and then you just open the faucet, and you move the string in the hole like this a few times, so that any mucus that is came into the hole is also cleaned out with the water. And then I just put soap, and wash it and do it again, and then you dispose the string. And then you put a new string inside for the next practice. How to exactly contract the uterus, Erga? Oh, you don't have to, let me see, there was a question before, so let me answer this one. When the fluid of gate 1 and 2 come out, I'm not at the point to have orgasm. But that goes together actually, because the orgasm causes the fluid. I think so. When you have the orgasm, then the fluid happens, yes, together actually, I think. Uh-huh. When you have the clitoris orgasm and then the fluid comes and you have the G-spot, oh yeah, when you have the this female ejaculation on the G-spot, then the G-spot actually this is like sometimes also when you insert the egg, that is like a hindrance, because when you put your finger inside, you feel that there's like a little ball. And they say also this is like the female prostate. It's like a hindrance sometimes for the egg to put it in, because it seems for women to be painful to go straight in like this because of this G-spot. So when you activate this female ejaculation in the G-spot is also like contracting. It's like the prostate, like when the prostate releases the sperm, it's the same. And that is why the water comes out like that. It's like like a fountain. But for the so there is two sections actually in the that you can develop for the female ejaculation. There's one part you can have this female ejaculation by manipulating this the ejaculation when you massage it, but then you don't necessarily have like an orgasm. It can just be manipulated and the water is coming, but no orgasm. So it's a not orgasmic feeling. That's possible, but you really need to train to that would be. I'm also on that level. I hardly ever have orgasm together with ejaculation, but the idea would be, I read in a book, that you can combine the clitoris orgasm, the clitoris and the G-spot orgasm, and then you have then you have orgasm and ejaculation in the G-spot. So that is the next level of training that you can do, that you combine both. And then you can also have orgasm together with the female ejaculation. I hope I'm clear. I want to not create more confusion. So as I said, just to make it clear, the orgasm has to come together with definitely in the clitoris. The orgasm comes, the first orgasm and the fluid is coming together with the orgasm. But we focus on the orgasm. And for the G-spot, it's we focus on that feeling of like when we activate this urethra, that it feels like we need to urinate. We feel like there's like a little bit burning feeling that we need to urinate, and then when we continue to press quickly into the G-spot, into this area, and then this suddenly it starts, and then the water is coming out. But as I said, it's not necessarily together with orgasm. It just happens. Mechanically we activate it and it comes out. Okay, I'm glad. I see some positive comments. Yeah, it's not easy to explain all these little details. Could you explain how exactly to contract the uterus orgasm? I mean, that is, you, when you have these two orgasms, and then you feel aroused, of course. and then you contract. I mean, another thing is also about this, the egg. You see, the egg shape of the egg is actually training our vagina to draw energy up, like to create a suction. Because we also want to, I mean, we also draw the earth energy up, because that's a kundalini energy. So you need to train with the egg so that you create a suction inside your vagina. So this is different than some doctors, they recommend after childbirth to use a kegel, like a round or one or two, and to contract like this. This is a different story. You see, this is for strengthening the vagina. But when you work with the egg shape, it's also strengthening and also drawing the energy up. So as I said, because I'm doing this so long, whenever I have orgasm, the energy always goes up. I don't even have to think that it should not go up, because it does it by itself, because I've been training so many years. So that is also, so now when you have the second orgasm, now your vagina is activated, and your vagina is expanded, and your lips are expanded, like that of a man. Like when a man has erection, is also the size of the penis is also like sometimes double or triple more than normal. So it's the same for women. So in this case, then you are very aroused, and then all you do is you just contract, like you do up and smile and send loving, smiling energy, so much love, joy and happiness into your uterus. It goes together, like love and sexual energy. So it goes together, and you have orgasm, uterus orgasm. So the uterus orgasm is also contracting. Your uterus starts to contract. And if you're not sure if it contracts, you can, when you have this orgasm, you can put your fingers right above the pubic bone, and when the orgasm comes, you feel it, that your uterus is contracting with your fingers. You feel it. And that's it, you see. So that's opening the 3 gates, and then another fluid is coming, a little bit more thick fluid is coming out from the uterus. There's, sorry, we still have a little time. There is another section to the development of this potential. The health of the uterus. What I've noticed is, like when I teach the practice with the egg, and some women, when they're a little bit older already, like in their 40, 50, or about to have like menopause or pre-menopause, they tell me that, or after post-menopause, they tell me that like blood is coming out when they do the egg exercise. And the blood is coming from the uterus. Or sometimes they say it's like pus, almost like yellow or whitish things are coming out from the uterus. So that can definitely happen, because like when we go into menopause, or maybe also women who are not yet in menopause, can also happen that blood comes, when they do the egg exercise. Because sometime when we have a menstruation, and after the menstruation the blood is released, but sometimes not all the blood is coming out from the uterus. Sometimes some blood stays inside, or sometimes also it can be the yellow body, some kind stays inside the uterus, and now when we start to work with the egg, it comes out. So some women, they'll tell me, they say, oh, what is this? But it's actually only a cleaning. It's a clean out of the uterus. That's what so it's not something that you don't have, like women say, oh, now I got my menstruation back. No, it's only cleaning out. It doesn't come again. Normally, maybe, I don't know, but one time normally is enough, and then it's cleaned out. That's one part. And then um, some women, they have during their menstrual cycle, they have like they accumulate like myoma on the uterus, you know, like little tumors, but they're good tumors around the uterus. And that is also like a hindrance to have like a uterus orgasm, of course, you see. So what I realized is to heal your uterus is when you start to work with the weight. When you start to work with the weight. So this section I haven't been mentioning it, but for women is quite important. So once you can do the egg exercise and you can do the pulling, now you apply a weight. So whenever you buy the egg in Dow Garden, then you get a little bag with it. So this is the initial bag. So you can start once you can do this practice with the egg. This is really important, you know. So some women they like to brag, you know, and then they put already like a lot of weight somewhere and they make photos. But that is not really the practice, because the really practice is the inside practice, that your vagina can be moved like your fingers. That's the important part. And now you start with the egg exercise. So you put some weight into the bag and then you adjust it to the thread, and then you swing it. You swing the weight like that. And when it's easy that it doesn't come out, then you put a little bit more weight until you feel a challenge. You know, that you feel, whoa, now I really have to hold. And now over time you increase the weight, and you always have to move your hip very, like I show you when you attach the weight, then you put, so now like say you have the weight here, so the weight should be here on the knee. It should not be further down than the knee, like this way. And now when you swing the weight, you swing here, again what we did in the morning exercise, to opening the sacrum here, to activate the sacrum. This one, you just swing with the sacrum. So you move your sacrum, very little, move it, and contract into the egg, and then your weight is swinging. So it doesn't have to swing a lot, it just swings a little, but you focus here on the sacrum. The sacrum is actually moving, and that's really important, because now you start to deblock your sacrum with the weight, and also the more weight you add, it will also affect your uterus. So there will be also healing taking place on your uterus. And all this, what we have accumulated on the uterus, will be released, and there sometimes can be a discharge, you know, something can come out, because it's a healing. Because what you do is with the weight, you pull your vagina down, and also the vagina is connected with the uterus, so you also pull the uterus. All the strings, there are 16 strings that connect the uterus to your genital diaphragm, so you pull everything down. And then when you let go of the weight, it goes more up. So like any sinking of the uterus, dropping of the uterus, all this can be reversed with this practice, but it has a lot more health benefits. Eventually, as I say, it also cleans the uterus, you know. Because, as I said, you know, if you want to have an orgasm there, you know, you have to have a healthy uterus. And yeah, so that's the practice. And over time, you can increase the weight. And swing the weight. So for women it's easy, because we only can hold as much weight as we can have the strength in our vagina. So let me see. So that's another section. And then I have one more section I would like to mention. Could you explain how exactly to contract for the uterus? You can just go, this is what I say, like when you trained your vagina this way, so that's what you do, because you have already activated the first gate, you have activated the second gate, and now all you do is, now you still have arousal in there, a lot of arousal. And all you do is, we are yin, women are, because we take longer to be aroused. And that's why we have to do everything slow and with loving energy. I mean, men too, but we need to have a lot of loving energy to activate it. Once this is activated, it's activated. So once you have the two gates, the third gate, the uterus orgasm, is not difficult. You just have to contract, and you contract into the uterus, and you send loving, smiling energy into the uterus, and it happens like that. So that's not, but the most important is, I mean, all these steps are important, you see. All this, it's quite a intensive training. What do you explain exactly? Why can't you use hot water on amethyst? Because it can break. Hot water maybe, but boiling water, it can break the amethyst. Because it's a quartz. Like if you have jade, you can even boil it, but you don't need to boil it because the egg is already hard. You see, you just need to clean the surface. Jade is one of the hardest stones, but like rose quartz, they're quartz, and they can break when you use too hot water. Where and how do you store and keep your egg? Haha, good question. I don't know. You know what? I have my egg in my bathroom. That I see it every day. I see it, and then I practice. Because if I don't see it, I don't practice. And I have it also in a little bit of water. So I put always like hot water on it, and then I leave it there, and I have already the new string inside. So I see it every day, so I practice it. How do you create the uterus orgasm? So I explained that. You are doing really good in explaining, very patient, very clear. Oh yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I really would like to more women to do the practice. So it can only happen after clitoris and G-spot orgasm. Yeah, because this is providing a full arousal in your vagina. Yes, these two orgasms, they provide you with a full arousal in your vagina. You're fully aroused, and then the uterus orgasm is not difficult. Is it true that we store a lot of emotions in the vagina? It is possible that we experience the release and yeah, definitely, yes. Muriel is asking this. Yeah, that's definitely true. We store a lot of emotions. That's why we need to practice with the egg. Yeah. In the way I explained it, because this why the muscle is not moving is probably an emotional reason why the muscle is not moving. To our mind, to our will at the beginning, because of this, because we hold a lot of fears and a lot of stuff in that area. Mm-hmm. And that's, or also like discomfort, literally like we feel very uneasy, like. And also, maybe I should mention also, like when a woman had many lovers in her life, every lover leaves something inside. It's amazing. Unfortunately. But it's how it is. The more sensitive you become, the more you become aware of it. And in my work, there sometimes came feelings up from one of my former lovers that I totally forgot. I mean, honestly, for 20 years, I not one time I had was thinking of this, and it came back. It was there. It was still there. Like some disgusting feeling sometimes, some uncomfortable feeling. All this is still there. And with the egg exercise and with smiling, loving yourself, And also sometimes gently massaging, like with the focus on massaging it out. Just be loving. You need to be loving to yourself, really, really. When this kind of emotional things come up, and you, even when you feel it, sometimes it comes to the skin, and then you just do very lovingly, you massage and smile and let go of it, I don't need you anymore, and it comes out. It's really true. You have to be positive and loving, and with the focus on letting go. And it works. It does work. And that, I just wanted to tell you, like sometimes we think, oh, why not? I can have sex with anybody, but it depends, what you want to do with your life. How do we understand the difference between contraction of vagina and of uterus? Is the sensation right? You can do it together. So yeah, so you can do it together. Like as I say, like I contract now my the lower part of my vagina, middle part, upper part, and now I contract into the uterus. I contract, like I just do like this. I contract. All the way up to the uterus. And when you do the egg exercise well, eventually you also feel the uterus. And you contract into the uterus. Is it true that we store a lot of emotion? Yeah, that's what I explained. And also sometimes, yeah, as I said, Master Chia, I think he also mentioned that sometimes men, when because for men often the uh, sex is like a release also of emotional release, not only ejaculation. And that emotional release can also affect the woman. That's why Master Chia said women should always visualize the perineum and the vagina white, in white color. It's disinfection, and that she's not so influenced by this energy. It's probably not with every man, but some are like that. How do we understand the difference between contraction? That's what I explained. And can we do egg exercise with myoma in uterus? Yeah, sure. I mean, you have to start one time with something in order to transform it. Egg exercise definitely good. Is it possible that vagina doesn't accept the egg? Yes. This is what Galina, this is exactly what I said. When you start with the egg, you have all kind of excuses, I don't like the egg. I tell you, I had the same, I had the same, like my master just said, did you practice with the egg? I said, how many times did I practice last year? Maybe twice. Like honestly, I didn't feel like doing that at all. I found it so odd, like at the beginning, I just, but it was also the problems that I had in my vagina already. That's now, after all, I can say that very, very clear. I had a lot of issues, and for this, I didn't want to start with the egg. And I know from all the experience in teaching 20 years women, so I know that many women have the same problem, that they think, yeah, actually I should do it, but I better just look at my egg and think, oh, it's beautiful, oh, very nice, and you put it back into the drawer. I know it, so we really have to overcome this hindrance, So there is no vagina that does not accept the egg. It's just our really that we feel like not willing to do it, and we have all kind of excuses that we don't do it. Sometimes I have a tense feeling in the vagina after I use the egg. Is it kind of muscle car? Yeah, it can be, Ingrid. Yeah, muscle kater. Yeah, that can be at the beginning. feels a bit odd. And all kind of strange sensations. Maybe then you don't use an obsidian egg if you don't feel pleasant when you with this kind of stone. What do? Thank you very much for your answer. Thank you. Some eggs are not drilled. Yeah, then you cannot really practice. That's not possible. Very simple that you cannot practice, because if you don't have you don't know where your egg is. There's no practice. You see, right? Like it's people they do all kind of exercise and they want to feel chi, and then they feel chi, but chi comes and she goes, and then it's nothing. They have nothing accomplished. Maybe the accomplishment is, now I can feel chi. But what is that, And that's it. There's no more to this, you see. And the same when you practice with an egg with no hole and no string, no dental floss. The egg is inside, and now what are you doing? It's inside. Where is it? I don't know. And you don't know, and then there's no practice, you see. That's it. There's simply no practice. You need to pull a bit. You need to pull the thread a bit so that you can feel, now I can feel my egg. And now the practice begins, because now you have to squeeze in that area that you feel, where your egg is. And if you have no string, then there is no practice. So what's the purpose of them? Dealing with bladder infection. What emotions are connected to it, maybe? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Bladder infection. Many people have bladder infection. Many women have this. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what the real reason is behind, but definitely it's not, the bladder is not, maybe, I don't know. Because the distance from the bladder to the vagina is very little, so women have more tendency to have bladder infection, because the distance is very little. Like men, they rarely have bladder infection, because the urine passes through the whole penis, and all the bacteria, and there are probably bacteria at the entrance on the gland penis, they will not go all the way up to the bladder. But for women, this is more possible, because it's closer, there's very little distance. And also sometimes when women the lower part is weak, when they only sit on a cold stone, or maybe they have a wet swimming trunk, and that can already cause bladder infection for women. But emotional reason, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. The only thing I can say is, like, first of all, preventing hanging out with wet swimming suits or sitting on cold stones, and also the training. The more first of all, we have to heal the bladder infection, and then you can train with the egg. So when your vagina becomes stronger, physically, energetic, really physically strong, that you can really move the muscle at your will, it will also naturally become energetically stronger, you see, and then you will not be prone to have some kind of bladder infection anymore. Because normally the bacteria, they only can stay in areas they are not so strong, and where there is not so much blood circulation, you see. When there is enough blood circulation, then the bacteria, they don't like to stay. They don't like to stay there. So let me see what we have here. The time runs. What exercises help to shorten the menstrual cycle? Good question. Do these exercises assist in pregnancy prevention if you do not want to get pregnant? Yeah, it could eventually, but I would not rely on this alone. This from Fleur. it can help, but then you also have the possibility that you count the days and that you have don't make physical love with your partner in the dangerous time of the before and after the ovulation. So you cut out, you can cut out 5 or 7 days, like, so you can make love but not penetrating, and that your partner doesn't lose the sperm. But of course you can hug and kiss and you can be lovingly to each other, just without penetration and ejaculation. Yes. And the other question was if it prevents, no, the other way is how to shorten the menstrual cycle. That is exactly coming from the ovarian uterus breathing. So that, good that somebody asked, because there's so many things to talk about women that I almost forgot. So when we go into the ovarian breathing, so you remember now, ovarian breathing, warm energy, not aroused energy, warm energy, ovary energy. So you move this energy and you collect it. Important, at the end of the practice, always collect it. You can either move it in the turning the 4 wheels, or when you're good and you feel the connection of your nipple and your breast, when you touch it, you feel already your clitoris, your ovary, your uterus. Then you just do the breast massage and the ovarian breathing together, simply by contracting and making this very little movement of the sacrum, drawing the energy up and down and collect it. So that's called ovarian breathing. So when you do this like 10 minutes every day and you feel the energy, you can guide the energy, then your menstrual cycle is becoming very smooth. So you don't have premenstrual symptoms. Your menstruation just comes and you're like, I remember I just was like, oh, my menstruation, oh, like surprise, like, and it is not long, it's like maybe 3 days, maximum a little bit the 4th day, but it's really easy peasy, you don't have side effects, it just comes and releases and that's it. So now, in this phase, your menstruation becomes less. And also, like there's also everything is about healing, and it's the same practice serves for everything. And that's why so many women are so confused about it. Some women, they lose very little blood. So they think, oh, I'm already almost immortal because I use so little blood. But it doesn't mean that this is healthy. You see, like when a woman uses so little blood every month, that means definitely there is an imbalance on the spleen liver section, so she need to do more the ovarian breathing, and she need also do all these contractions with the eggs, so that eventually the blood flow becomes a normal blood. You see. I had also women who did not menstruate anymore, like with 27 years, or 30 years, or 25. Suddenly the menstruation stopped, and they went to have acupuncture, and they had herbs, and it didn't work. And now when they go into this, like, I especially remember now one woman from America, she was a little bit longer with me, and after the class, she was practicing every day the ovarian energy, and like 5 days after the female healing class that I used to teach 5.5 days, she got her menstruation, and she didn't have menstruation for 9 months or longer. And now the problem with her was that she was afraid it could not come the next month. See, so she stayed another month and the menstruation came again. But when she went back to America, she additionally went to a Chinese practitioner, and here I gave her acupuncture, and she did the ovarian breathing every day. And she told me later, it took her about half a year, that she had no more fear that the menstruation wouldn't come anymore. See, like that. So the same practice, you can reactivate your menstruation, and the same practice is actually that you shorten your menstruation. Because we need to balance our ovarian energy. And whatever, no menstruation, too much menstruation, irregular menstruation, all this is combined in the ovaries, in our hormonal energy. And we need to balance it. And how do we do it? With the ovarian breathing. So whatever you do, it's always ovarian breathing. See? So now when your body is healed, energetically healed, then your menstruation will be naturally shortened, and you will have a longer distance, like maybe 30 days and then 35 days or 40 days before your next menstruation is coming back. So eventually we lengthen the cycle, and you feel fine, you feel very energetic. You feel very energetic and feel great, and so you lengthen the cycle, which and when you do this, you also feel more energy, because you don't feel so drained. Because women, we feel drained when we have menstruation. We always we go up to ovulation, we feel better and better, and then ovulation comes, and then side effects, and we feel lousy, and then we climb up. And that is actually also the discrepancy between male and female in the younger age. Because men are young, they are, when they go into puberty, the body produces sperm, and they feel a lot of energy because of this hormonal transformation, hormonal energy, and they feel in their power, and that's why they want to have sex, and they feel really like doing something, or they're going to a sport or whatever, because they have so much energy. And we are exactly the opposite. We have painful menstruations, and we feel lousy, and then we climb up and woof again, and we do this 12 times a year. So the Taoists said, well, if you don't want to have a child, one child is enough. If you don't want to have, or two, if you don't want to have 5 or 15 children, you just start to do the ovarian breathing and heal your womb, and then you don't have to have so many menstruations, every year. Maybe you can cut to 7 menstruations or 5, like that. That is actually the idea, because it's all about energy cultivation. You have more chi, more energy when you don't menstruate, or when you menstruate less. And that's the energy. That's actually the idea behind. Okay, so let me just see. One more little question I wanted to say, answer. I wanted to say something. And what best to do as an evening practice? Could you please repeat the optimal order of steps for the morning practice? I think you received for Soya. You received the recording, and then you just watch it. You just remember the timing when I taught it, and you do it. And then you do it every morning. Another thing I forgot to mention. So now when you start to self-arouse yourself, so that when you go into opening the first gate, the second gate, the third gate. So in the process of the opening of the first gate and the second gate, when you have done all this massage and caressing yourself, now when you feel aroused, you can draw this arousal into your organs, and that is wonderful. This is so wonderful, and it is really a wonderful practice. So first, when you do it, you probably don't feel anything. You contract, and the energy, you think, I want to give it now into my kidneys, and you spiral in your kidneys. but you don't feel much. But when with continued practice, I can guarantee you, whenever you contract like this, again, this contraction in your vagina, you draw the energy into your liver, and you feel like, Master Chia says, you feel like a liver orgasm. Maybe at the beginning this is exaggerated, you don't feel an orgasm, but eventually you feel energy going into your liver from your sexual organs, and you build up more love, joy, happiness, and more kindness and generosity, and you guide it up into the heart, you can guide it up into the brain, into all your organs, and that's really wonderful. So every time when you do it well, when you do this contraction, your arousal is going down. But the trick is actually, the more love you have, and you when you send the arousal, let's say in your lungs, and you spiral it in your lungs, and then you go down into your sexual organs, I mean to your vagina, and you send more love into your vagina, and it activates again. So you don't even have to touch. You just smile and send loving energy into your vagina, and then you can contract up, and you send the loving energy into your kidneys, for instance, like that. So that's also very, very beautiful exercise, and you can just distribute this arousal and loving energy in your organs and into your brain. Sorry, I had to talk a lot. I hope I didn't forget anything. You can always reach me, like I'm not out of this world. And yeah, I hope that you practice. And if you have questions, you can always address it to me. Yes. Thank you very much for joining. Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you and share my practice with you. Thank you.